Says we're live.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Okay, very
Even
good.
in my,
So, Andres, if you could start by just introducing yourself and give us a little bit of background about your role with this project.
okay, so my name is Ondrej Filip. I'm CEO of CZNY, which is a quite strange company in some sense because it's an administrator of top-level domain in the Czech Republic. But actually, more than half of our company is a huge R&D department. We do a lot of open source, mainly software stuff. For example, I'm the original author of Routing Them on BERT, which is currently run in more than 2/3 of internet exchange points in the world. So it's quite used software. And we started this hardware project. It started like 2 years ago, and we wanted to do some security project. And because there was no suitable hardware for that, we built it. And then we realized that there is probably demand outside Czech Republic for that. So that's why we decided to make a new version, new generation of the device. So that's how that started.
Could you start out talking a little bit about the name of this project and what's the significance of the name?
Oh yeah, since that was security research project, the original idea was to create 1,000 of those boxes and spread them around in, give it to people in the Czech Republic. I'd say for free. It was technically at least for £1 a year, which is less than $1. And we were collecting security information from those devices, and then we were doing. Sorry, I apologize for that.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Just if you want to start at any point.
So the original idea was to create 1,000 boxes and give them to the people inside the Czech Republic, like the home routers, and then collect some security information from those devices, making some analysis, and then creating some gray list, some blacklist, and some try to track some botnets and stuff like that. So that was the original idea, and because it was meant as a protection of people, that's why we chose the Latin name turris, which means a tower, actually. And that's how the project started. And when we came with this new version, it was actually originally named Turris Lite, because we thought it's a lighter version of the previous generation. But at the end of the day, unfortunately or fortunately, the hardware is much stronger than the previous version, and it has SFP cache, it's more advanced, so that's why we realized that probably word Lite is not appropriate for that. So we chose, again, a Latin name, Omnia, which means like everything or stuff like that.
Let's talk about a little bit, since you mentioned the security aspects and how important this is to be sort of a protective device for networks. It has some built-in capabilities that other routers don't typically have. In particular, for instance, can you talk about the crypto chip that it has by default?
Yeah, there is one important thing, because we are afraid that the current routers that are on the market have one weakness, and that's mainly the firmware update. There's not many routers that updates automatically or instantly, and that was one of the things we wanted to concentrate. So our router updates instantly. Whenever there is some security issue, we fix it in days, if not hours. And all the well-known attacks like Heartbeat, for example, were fixed very quickly on this router. So the thing is that we wanted to have a secure channel from the router to the updating server, and also some secure channel for submitting the security information we were collecting. So that's why there's a crypto chip that has some key material. That was for the old project. In turris-omnia, of course, because it will not be given for free. It's just an optional thing you can reuse for any of your project. You can store key material there, so you can use it for some VPN things and transferring some files or whatever you want. And also it can be used if you want to receive all updates with this hardware again.
Okay. The other thing about this hardware is, I have to say, as a router, it seems like you've included some overkill. You've got, let's say, 4 gigs of flash. That's quite a bit for a router. What do you anticipate people will actually use that kind of space?
Well, look at the router from a different angle. It's the only device in your house that runs 24 hours, maybe except fridge, but we probably will agree that we don't have much smart fridges in our house, right? So that's the only device that runs. And what it does for you, just forwarding packets, what it does when you sleep, nothing basically. So the idea was, let's make it more flexible. That's why there's an open source operating system on top of it, and that's why we put some storage, because we expect that you will install there some custom application. And with the first generation of Turris, many of the participants of the project were doing really funny stuff. They were making sound server for the bathroom. They were doing like DVB-T recorder, and also making a precise time clocks and stuff like that. So we know it's a very universal device, and of course, obviously, it can be an NAS server, like for file sharing and storing your photographs and videos. So that's why we put there enough memory, enough CPU power, not just to forward gigabit of traffic, but also for doing other stuff like the activities I have mentioned.
Now, you have actually a sample of the hardware that's in front of you now. Can you show us a little bit both of the industrial design, what does the case look like, and what are the external features that we see?
Okay, so this is the board. This is the size of the board. It has 6 Ethernet ports. One is metallic and also SFP cage, so you can also use it. Plug an optic module into that. It has 2 USB 3 ports. It has 3 mini PCI Express slots. 2 of them will be occupied by Wi-Fi. We expect that the device will serve like 5 gigahertz and 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, but it's upgradable for the future if there is going to be some new standard or some improvement of the Wi-Fi standard. It has battery backup RTC clock. We use it because we run DNSSEC validation and also certificates validation, so the precise time is important for this device. There is also those very, very funny RGB LEDs. There is more than we need actually for the router, because many people in the previous generation of router use those LED diodes for signaling some stuff. For example, I don't know, you have an appointment or there is something wrong you should look at and stuff like that. So that's why there are some of them, all of them are actually customizable, but 2 of them are just really just for your fun. They don't have any purpose at this moment. That's probably all those connectors. It has Armada 385, so very powerful ARM-based chip from Marvell, and it has inside there is a switch chip. And there's one good thing for the network geeks. This switch chip is connected by 2 gigabit lines to CPU, and the one port that is one that has a metallic and SFP option is connected also by single line. So basically, you have enough capacity for 1 gigabit, and you can, for example, do some VLANs or stuff like that if you want to play with your network. And you have, as I said, 2 separate gigabit lines to your LAN ports actually. And it has some flash for building, and as you mentioned, 4 gigabytes of other flash for storing the operating system. And also the plan is not just run our operating system based on OpenWRT, but also you can run some of your custom operating system, for example, Debian in container. So the idea is that we will take care of the base operating system, so it's going to be up to date, and you can use your container for anything you want, and we will not be able to touch it, and you can run some of your custom application on it.
And that's what you refer to as a virtual server functionality?
That's what we meant by that, yeah.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about what it's like to be making essentially not a startup, certainly, because it's part of a larger group, but it seems like a startup project. What is it like to be doing that in the Czech Republic? Is it a friendly environment for that sort of activity?
Well, originally we were a little bit afraid of that, but surprisingly, it's quite a good environment. There is quite a lot of companies that are involved in that. So that means it's quite easy, for example, to make a prototype here, because there are companies, making PCB and putting all this stuff on it, and so that was not a complicated thing. It's a little bit more expensive. We are inside European Union, so we cannot be as cheap as the companies in Southeast Asia, but it works really well, especially for small series like 1,000 pieces that we are working on. It's probably a little bit different when you want to create huge series like 100,000, but we are not at this point yet, so that's another question.
How many people have been involved with using the generations of Turris so far?
Well, you mean the end users?
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. So we created 1,000 pieces, and then for next year, it was last year actually, we created another batch of 1,000. So currently there is 2,000 pieces somewhere in the world, but 95% of them are in the Czech Republic.
Okay. Do you see any huge advantage to someone taking this router? It adds some additional hardware, but most of the benefits, is there anything unique to this router that you don't get by running OpenWRT on other hardware? Is it primarily the crypto chip? Is it just that it's very high-end networking? What is the best thing you could tell someone who says, I already have a router right now, why should I change?
Maybe we should call it, server. It's not just a router. It has capacity to run normal Linux distribution, so you can run your web server, anything like that. So it's more universal device than just a router. Then I think, yeah, the network capacities, I think it's non-standard. It's better than usually, especially in this field of the home routers, and also the extensions. We have 3 PCI Express slots, so you can use it for anything. You can use it for LTE backup if you really cannot survive any problem in your network, and you have to be connected every second. Or you can use it. You can put the SSD disk, and you can make it. You can run it as a quite good NAS, quite reasonable NAS. And also we have some extension connector. Some of the like SPI. I2C can be extended, so you can put there some custom hardware. We were discussing with some local companies that are working in IoT field, because this router would be perfect base for, or the central point for your smart home. So that's a plan, but there is nothing at the table at this moment.
Okay, this seems like it should appeal to a lot of hardware hackers. Will people be able to buy it without a case? Could you just buy the board so you could then integrate it into your own shape?
Yeah, exactly. We just plan to launch an Indiegogo campaign because we would like to see if there's a demand for the device, and you can buy just a single board, and the plan is that we will be shipping those devices by April next year. So that's this. Like you see, there will be nothing else, no boxing, nothing else. You need to find your own power source and your box or whatever you want. And the other option will be to buy the complete router, which will be roughly like that. It's just a plastic prototype, so it might change slightly, but that's the idea. At least you can see the size and what is the original plan. And with that box, you will have like 2 Wi-Fi cards included, power source, and everything else around.
Can you talk a little bit about your Indiegogo campaign, the money you raise with that? What will that go toward?
So, as I said, the main purpose of this campaign is to see if there is a demand for the product. We don't want to, spend money manufacturing a product that nobody will actually buy. So it doesn't make sense. And it's even more complicated as everything is open source. Everything is open source software and open source hardware. So after some period, anybody can copy it. So that's why this will give us a little bit advantage that we will create a batch that we will be sure that we will be able to sell. So the goal is to raise like $100,000, and the perks in this campaign are the routers and the boards, of course.
One thing that seems different about this campaign versus some crowdfunding campaigns is you're actually using this day to day. This is an existing product.
Well, the previous version it's run day to day, but the new version is just in prototype, but it's fully functional prototype actually. Yeah, we are very sure that we can make it. There shouldn't be any hidden problems because we went this way to at least twice before, so we absolutely know that we are able to make it. The main reason is to find out if there's a demand for that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Andre, I think this has been a good talk. What else should I be asking you about?
Well, maybe why we do that actually, because many people ask me why we do actually everything open source and why we do that, and it's quite a strange thing because not many companies are doing it. everybody who is doing some hardware has some, some plans, and tries to hide the design. Even Raspberry Pi is not fully open source. You don't get the production plans, which and that's something different on Turrets. You can just download it if you wish. The plan was to make some universal device, and also the plan was to help the community, because that's the main mission of the organization. We do a lot of open source software, which is really run in important places of internet. And another example is NodeDNS or DNS server, which is run by root servers, like DNS root servers, so the key servers that internet rely on. And this is another, project that fits in that mission, that we would like to make the internet secure, safer, and better. So that's why it's open source, so you can verify that there is nothing hidden, that it doesn't report to anybody you don't want to. And also, you can build some your solution on top of it, and you can extend it, you can play with that. We would like to, give this device to people that would like to play with networking, make it like an educational device, simply, bring more people to networking and technology related to that.
Is there pricing that's set or expected right now?
Yeah, the price of the board will be $99 plus some shipping, and I apologize, we will ship it from Europe, so that the shipping will be added to that. And the price of the board, the early bird price will be $179.
Okay, and again, you said if someone gets the bare board, they just need to supply a power supply and their own case. It's otherwise a functional piece of hardware?
And probably cooling, but yeah, otherwise it's fully functional piece of hardware.
Okay. All right. Hey, I think that's actually not a bad price at all. I wasn't sure what you were going to say on how much it's going to cost. Interesting.
Yeah, again, we don't want to make a profit on this. This is more, let's say, project for the good of the internet. So there is almost no margin on those products. It's really just to help the people around.
But again, like you say, since it's open source, someone could take the design, extend it, and sell their own version. So if you put out a version like this, then the same hardware can go quite a few places.
Yeah, and we will be happy, and of course, we hope we will make another version soon. So, if someone will take it, I hope we will still have some relevance into this.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about the licensing? I mean, it is open source, but can you talk a little bit about what licenses different aspects are under? For instance, if you're releasing hardware designs, are they under Creative Commons license, or what sort of licensing?
It's a good thing, and since I'm more software guy, I have to look at our web pages. I apologize because I don't remember exactly the name of the license. Give me a few seconds. I apologize for that.
Sure, not at all.
I forgot the name of the license. Basically, everything we do in software is GPL, and this license is slightly different. I forgot the name. It's something with E at the beginning, dude.
Oh, we can always look at that up later. So don't worry too much about that.
I got it actually. It's no, I can't find it right now. Oh yeah. It is CERN Open Hardware License.
Oh, okay. I've not heard of that, so that sounds like an interesting thing for me to look up. Great.
But I hope this guy was smart enough to design good license for them.
CERN are pretty smart guys. That seems like a fair bet. Okay, great. Well, Andre, this has been a great conversation as far as I'm concerned. Just again, at this point, is there anything else, any other topics you think we should touch on here?
I hope not. I think it's enough for the people to have a good picture of the project, and hopefully they will help us to support it.
Yeah. How long does your Indiegogo campaign? When does it run through?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, it starts well, in the time of the interview. It has started, and it's gonna finish by the end of January. So like 2 months roughly.
Okay.
A little bit more than 2 months. Okay.
Yeah. So to raise 100,000, you'd have to sell about 1,000 of these. That seems, I don't know. What do I know? But that seems like it's going to be a good bet. That seems like a pretty reasonable goal. It's not you're not trying to raise millions.
Yeah, we hope so. Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. I think we have plenty to draw from for our edited version. If there's anything else that you think of that you'd like to pass on by email or anything, that's great, because we're going to have a text, accompaniment.
Yeah, maybe if you can put the Indiegogo URL, if it's
Sure.
possible. If
Oh,
I don't know,
yeah, we
nothing against your Ruth. I don't know. So,
no. Nothing. We'll be talking about it, so of course we'll a link to it makes a lot of sense.
Okay, and maybe just a link to Omnia turris-omnia. That's everything.
Sure.
Probably.
Oh, absolutely, it'll be there.
Logical. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Well, great. Hey, thanks very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'll see you later. Bye.